What do I think about language learning? I think that, and I'm using this and I'm copying my lesson, that's Turkish, and I have to go through this because, just because, that's a song. But I'm watching something in English, I was watching something in Greek, and I realized since I started again a new languages among those languages that I already know, that for the most part language is a habit that is learned through usage, through trying to understand and trying to make sense of what other people say through context, through realia, through reality, through our senses, and we have to need to use all the senses we have. Obviously, if you don't see, you cannot see sight, and you need to but for the most part, I'm not saying anything new, as what Krashner always, the same thing they always harp on. I think that's the right name, Krashner. Is a linguist. He's in his 70s, late 70s now, and he came up with one of those theories about language learning, and I think for the most part it works because, for example, I'm learning Turkish. This method is doesn't have a lot of pictures, but I have a book that I made myself with all the pictures with the Turkish translation. By the way, I have to finish the States. And this is my go-to book when for the site. And everything I learn is in context. And when I don't remember a word, I remember the situation through yarın akşam tiyatroda güzel bir oyun var. So I remember the situation, and I remember that oyun is a comedy, a play, a work, a theatrical work. Okay, then sizi ben şimdi davet ettiğim için aradım. Okay, this is one lesson I haven't been going through. This is 18th lesson, so I still have to go through several times. So what do? Every day I start from scratch, and I go faster. And when my idea is having this with me, and I can review all my lessons without the notes. So, but I have to go through the notes, and I always work on this. You see all these notes that I write. I need to work on my book. That's why I learned Greek through this method, and I made it. I'm not perfect. Nobody is perfect. The only language that I'm very good at, I think it's Italian, because I live in Italy. That's and I use it on a daily basis. However much it happens to me that even in Italian, sometimes I'm stumped. So when I go through, for example, lesson number 8. ders 2 fıkra. Hoca bak, bir tepsi börek gidiyor. Bana ne, ama size gidiyor. Öyleyse sana ne? Bir kahvede beyler sohbet ediyorlar. Acaba geceleri pencere açık mı yatmalı? Kapalı mı? Yandaki masadan bir adam söze karışıyor. Açık pencere her zaman iyidir. Siz herhalde doktor... Now I understand. I understand the situation. First, I have the French translation. I used to speak French very well. Now and then I don't remember a word, but never mind. It looks like, okay, it's a simple thing, Turkish. Well, to understand in real time and then listen to this and understand without watching and listening, it's not easy. Not easy at all, tell you that. Doing that on a daily basis, that's the key. I wouldn't say the secret, because secrets are meant to be secrets. If I tell you that, it's not a secret anymore. So, my bottom line is go for few languages. I'm learning a fourth language, but I have time on my hand. I play music, and nowadays, unluckily, I don't go out and play for these things is going on around that is not really going around. That's another kettle of fish. But I'm not one of those fixated with languages. I tell you, if you have time for 2 languages or for 1 language, don't split the time among 10 or 4 languages. Learn that time. You can learn another language after a lot of years, and the language is in your long memory. You will always lose something, but for a while, then you juggle the 2 languages. So I'd say no more than 3 languages. I've been through one, and I have to dump languages because I couldn't juggle all these languages, because I played the trombone, I played the guitar, several kinds of guitar, different tunes, I sing, and I use my language to speak, to make those videos. I upload videos in English, not because I think English is an international language, because it's a language that I deeply love, and I strongly appreciate. Italian is my working language. I've never been through a lot of, how to put it, is one of the things are all around you and you don't even notice. Italian is so, it's like the language by default that you speak in Italy, and I always like learning new words and expressions as an Italian speaker, because you don't know the whole dictionary and everything, all the vocabulary of Italian language. But anyway, I use my languages to do things. So, like, why do you need Turkish? I have an inkling to go and live in Turkey, and I like things about Turkey. It's close to Greece. They have a lot in common. It's Middle Eastern, but it's not Arabic. I don't like Arabic. Sorry for all other people who like it, like the language. There are several things, but when I know Turkish, I will. First thing, one very funny thing. There are some films, movies in English that you can find dubbed in Turkish and you don't find in English. Okay, I know Turkish, I will watch them. Even if I skip a word, it's not the end of the word. I'm watching a soap opera in Turkish, and now I watch the soap opera because I'm learning Turkish. In time, I will use Turkish to watch soap opera that I like. How can you like... Turkish soap opera are not that stupid for some reason. And they are seen a lot even in Greece. You can imagine Greek people don't like Turkish people, but okay. So I can use to, I don't know, I will watch documentaries. I like documentaries. I will watch documentary in Turkish. I'll watch documentary in Greek. I don't watch a lot of Italian documentaries. For a rule, I tend to watch things in English and in Greek because these are not the language that I speak a lot with real people. That's why I speak in these videos, even if nobody speaks to me. But I feel the urge, even if I don't have somebody who replies to me. But I watch a lot. I watch a lot of videos. So, but I really like. It sounds funny, the sound of my voice, because I like. My attitude is this. My approach. I listen to a lot of that language. Listening to a lot of that language helps you speak. Many times people want to speak immediately. I don't speak Turkish now. I don't feel ready. I can repeat things, but I will find myself in a very shaky ground speaking Turkish because it doesn't occur me. I don't. Words they don't come to my mind immediately. I'm learning this, but it's so. I don't have all of the basic things that I need to speak. I'm acquiring them. It's not that I'm on this phase that I'm preparing for the match. I'm growing muscles, so to speak, linguistic muscles. I'm not ready for the fight. Some people say you have to speak immediately, but if you find yourself in a situation where you need to speak freely, but use a language you don't know, you will be constantly frustrated. So if you want to use the little you know, you have to use it in a controlled way, and knowing that you can express the things that you know, and you will be very limited, and you are perfectly fine with this. If you have a someone that is ready to help you, like you're a baby. But if you want to have a real discussion, I'll tell you that you will always revert to the language both people know the best. So it's very difficult to have a discussion. If you want to have a discussion about some things and you want to use a language you don't know, either you take it as an exercise and the object of conversation conversation is on the back burner, and the first thing is to use the language and try, like a game, a TV show, and you have to make the other person understand what you, and you try to make the most of what you know, and other people say the right word and with the right grammar, and you take notes and you listen to this, you have him repeat, okay, now I learned that. But it sticks to your mind because you used to express something you really wanted to say. But okay, but for the most part, people are not ready to do this. Most of the people you have language exchange have no clue about these techniques, and you start speaking the language, and the other person expects you to speak well, and they feel even the person who is supposed to help you is frustrated, and I'd say that if you don't master grammar in a very good way, wait. Otherwise, speak about like bir kalemin var. Very gözlük. Eller 1, 2, 3, 4. Very simple things. It's not a conversation. is another way to learn a language where grammar and words are connected to real life, like children. But that's not a conversation. And you have to take it for what it is. Okay? First steps in a language. But if you go very steadily, very slowly, and you absorb these things with the right pronunciation, you will get into the new language in a very confident way, without trying to speed up the process. The whole idea about in the internet is make the most of this. No, we live in a society where everything has to be scheduled with no dead time, no downtime. You need to be there's no take it easy attitude. When it comes to languages, this attitude, oh, let's speed up, let's streamline, a smart approach, a smart language lesson. No. When we learn Italian, and when we learn the first language, there was a smart approach. The smartest approach is don't make language learning a chore. Okay? So I know there are things that are difficult. Okay? Take it easy. Try to decompose, break down the thing, and in more simple things. If something's very difficult, for example, learn all the words until they are like in your native language. So your attention is only on the structure. If you don't know the words, you don't know the pronunciation, you don't know where the stress falls, and moreover, this is a grammar that is completely different like Turkish, you're completely lost. Sometimes, you know the meaning of this word or this word, you look, everything falls into place because there's the meaning. And if, for example, tomorrow evening, theater in, beautiful, one, play exists. Okay. Tomorrow evening there'll be a play in the theater, more or less. So you make sense. And now I'm starting not to make sense because I still have to work on my vocabulary. Sizi, okay. Eşinizle. Eş means partner. Niz means yours. And le means with. So that with your partner, davet etmek için aradım. Aradım is I called for making. Etmek, to make, literally is for making. Davet, okay, invitation. Now I worked on that. Sizinle davet etmek için aradım. Okay, now it's clear that davet is invitation. I repeat and read that several times, and then I put it aside. And the following day, I reread until I understand like the Italian or English for that matter. Peki, bu sabah sizin evde telefona cevap veren hanım kimdi? Peki means well or well. Bu sabah, okay, this morning, sizin evde, sizin in your house, telefona cevap veren, telefona cevap veren. Cevap veren is to answer, to give answer. Somebody gives answer, hanım. Kimdi? Okay. Who was this past? Giving answer to the phone, literally answering the phone. Hanım. Hanım is okay, my wife. Hanım. No, hanım is not my wife, it's wife, because im is possessive, but in this case it's part of the root of the word. Okay? So the translation. Okay. Then who was answering, or who? Yes, because who answered? Okay. Annemdi, my mother, was my anneniz mi telefondan bana in the phone çok genç gibi geldi de. It sounds yes, I understand. I didn't understand geldi in the meaning of seemed to me. It means arrived. Literally arrived in the phone to me very young, like it sounded very young on the phone to me. It sounded okay. O zaman anneniz geliyorsun değil mi? Okay, o zaman then, literally that time. Annenizle with your mother. Anneniz, yours, le with, geliyorsunuz. This is a present with a future meaning. O zaman annenizle geliyorsunuz değil mi? Isn't that? Inshallah, okay. Inshallah we know what it means. Teşekkürler. Yarın akşam görüşmek üzere. Okay, üzere now means future. We are going to meet or to speak tomorrow. The translation in French is demain soir. So I read and read and read, and then I gave up all the grammar. There is a recapitulation, I would say. There's a grammar lesson every 7 lessons. Sum up all the grammar it's very well done, but I use other methods. This is my mainstay, my staple things, and I'm in love with Assimil. But I use also, I have 2 other books, and I have this thing, and this is very complicated. I'm using other ones. I'm making with all the translation. I always check and double check because it's very easy to write stupid things. Okay, this was my video. I felt the urge, Nurgensen. I felt the urge to do that. I shot another video with same timing in Greek. Same time. Goodbye.